In this video here, I'm going to tell you the answer to a secret that you have been trying to answer yourself for decades. Why you snack when you're not even hungry? Doesn't make sense, does it? Why am I eating if I don't actually need anything in my body? And there's two reasons for this, two big reasons. First, what I want to actually give you though is context on who I am and why you should actually trust me. Because for 10 years straight, I was someone that snacked obsessively. I binge ate, actually. I didn't just snack, I binge ate. I ignored every single hunger cue I had and just kept on eating. I did that for 10 years straight. And over the last few years, I built such a relationship with food, my body, and exercise that I no longer do that. And in fact, what I do now is I help people get out of those exact same situations that I found myself stuck in for 10 years straight. So there's my credibility, my authority, and why you should listen to me. I also have a degree in this crap as well. But why you snack when you're not hungry? Why you snack when you're bored? Why you snack when you're stressed? You're lonely? You're annoyed, you're anxious. And I want to ask you this first question. Have you ever wondered why we call it comfort food? Because we're trying to use it as a blanket, right? We are trying to offload our emotions via food, right? We're trying to find peace or satisfaction through food, 9 times out of 10. And I think there's a few practical things that I can give you in this video that will really help. That will help you kind of look at this in a new light. Some practical strategies that you can use as well. And I'd say there's 3. The first is going to be more psychological, and the second 2 are going to be a bit more practical. So let's start with the psychological, which is when this feeling, this urge next comes up, I want you to label it, right? And I'd actually love you to get a journal out, pen and paper, and ask yourself, why do I want to snack right now? And this is obviously if you're not hungry, right? If you're not hungry, because there's a need to snack or eat if you are hungry. And we'll talk about that in a second. But why do I actually want to snack right now if I'm not hungry? And I want you to therefore list all the emotions that are coming up, right? Are you bored? Are you lonely? Are you tired? Are you stressed? Whatever it is, just write it down. And then next to that, or just below, I want you to write down, if food wasn't a substance on this earth, if food didn't exist, what would I do right now? If I couldn't eat, how would I solve this issue? Right? And you're probably thinking, well, okay, well, if I was lonely, I'd probably go see someone, I'd call someone, I'd talk to someone. If I was a bit sad or a bit depressed, maybe I do something that makes me just feel really good. Maybe I do a silly dance. Maybe I go for a shower. Maybe I clean my teeth. And therefore, I want you to go do that thing. I want you to go do the thing that your body actually needs right now. Because it doesn't need food as that comfort blanket. The reason it wants food is because there's no barrier to entry when it comes to food. Very little in comparison to getting up, going for a walk, calling a friend. Mentally, it's a more challenging barrier. It takes way more cognitive effort. So I'd much rather just eat and get that same level of dopamine. And it makes sense, right? I don't blame it. It makes total sense. It's always looking for the easiest route, the shortest hack. But ultimately, it's not the right path for us. And it's what's going to continue making us snack and snack and snack for years and decades. And why you will always feel out of control with food unless you start doing this. Now, I personally believe that no amount of therapy when it comes to food works unless there is practical strategies in place as well. And what do I mean by this? I mean, you cannot just out therapy not eating enough over the course of the day, right? Same logic of like you can't out train a bad diet. Very kind of common thing people say in this fitness space. Because if you haven't eaten for days or even hours and you are starving hungry, no matter how many times you write in your journal, what do I need right now? Maybe I'm just lonely, maybe I'm stressed, maybe I'm sad. There's going to be a point where you realize that, hey, I just need to eat, right? And this is where we talk about the practical elements around hunger cues and around satiating foods. Because ultimately, one of the big reasons why people are snacking endlessly and binge eating is because they're not actually fueling their body correctly, right? Maybe they're skipping meals, maybe they're not eating whole nutrient-dense foods that are rich in protein and fiber, and they're starving their body of essential nutrients and macronutrients like carbohydrates and fats. So it's really important we also look at the quality and the quantity of our food and our intake. And this, I like to use the hunger and fullness scale and really rely on our hunger cues as well. So firstly, I want to actually define true real hunger in comparison to emotional hunger. True real hunger is where we feel those rumbles in our stomach. But our stomach feels empty, where it starts communicating to us. Right? You ever wondered why your stomach makes noises? Because it's trying to talk to you. Right? When the dog is barking and the cat is meowing, they're trying to talk to you, right? The birds are chirping, they're talking to one another. Your stomach's doing the exact same thing. It's trying to talk to you. Hey, I'm hungry. Feed me. I need food. Yet we ignore it because we can't understand it. It's not English or Spanish or wherever this video is being seen. And how I like to get my clients to really become more in tune with their own hunger levels is by using a fullness scale or a hunger and a fullness scale. And it's an arbitrary rating, subjective albeit, out of 10, where you are asking yourself, how hungry, how full am I right now? And if you're a 10 out of 10, you basically just ate thousands of calories, you are bloated, you can't move a muscle. And if you're a 0, you literally could eat a horse, right? You are starving. And what we want to do is kind of operate between this 4 and 7 level at all times. You don't want to let your hunger get past a 4. You don't want to let your appetite or your fullness levels get past like a 7 or 8. Let's maybe extend that to 8. 4 to 8 is where we want to be. So what we want to do is we realize that over the course of the day, we're going to fluctuate between these levels. When we wake up, maybe we're a 5 or a 6, right? And you have the choice there to eat and get back to a 7 or an 8. Or you have the chance to wait a bit, let that get down to a 3 or a 4 and then eat, right? Whatever way works better for you, but I would always recommend sitting no lower than a 4. Because when you're a 4 out of 10, you are physically hungry. You are truly hungry. Your stomach is really making noises to you. It is not just the right time to eat, but you're also being told by your body that you need food as well. And then what we want to do is when we are eating, we're really in tune with how full we actually are. And the best way that I advise my clients to do this is by simply asking yourself the question. And I do this once during every single meal, right? As I approach halfway through the meal, I take a sip of water, just like this. And I ask myself, how full am I right now? And if that number is higher than an 8 out of 10, I'm done. I'm full. I don't need to eat anymore. And I just put the food away. But if it's a 5, a 6, I'm done. I'm going to keep eating, right? I'm going to keep eating until I get to an 8 out of 10. And the reason behind that is two-parted. One is digestive. One element of this is the fact that when we are eating, we don't just digest and process our food immediately. It takes 15, 20 minutes for us to do that. So it's why I always recommend, also going for a short walk, because it kind of gets you out of the house. It allows your food to digest even faster. Because when you're kind of hunched over and seated, your organs, your internal kind of tissue, your small intestines, which are processing food, are going to be more compact, and they'll work and function as effectively. Versus when you're walking and strutting around, it's going to be easier. But the second aspect here is when it comes to... I've lost my own train of thought there. When it comes to... Let me just pause for a second and restart. Digestion, 8 out of 10. Yeah, there we go. It's early in the morning. Because when it gets to that 8 out of 10 point, that's when, if you continue eating, you're almost like rewarding bad habits and bad practice, malpractice. And you continue to tell yourself that it's okay with not being okay, is how I kind of look at it. Because what you're doing when you're full, right? Your stomach is stretched. It's full. And if you continue to eat past those feelings of fullness, what do you think happens? You have a new line, you have a new level of full over time, right? And what does that do? Is every single time, your level of full completely changes. And if you continue doing this, it's why some people, right, if you continue doing this, it's exactly why some people can eat 2 cheeseburgers, just give a random example, and not be full, and one person can eat half of one and be stuffed. Because we've got different appetite cues, different hunger cues. So the third final piece of this puzzle is you need to eat right. You need to eat satiating foods. What are satiating foods? Well, they're whole, they're nutrient dense, they're largely single ingredient. Then you need to eat them all day, every day. Not just for dinner, but for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, across snacks as well. And maybe it would really help if I give you a breakdown of what I eat, right? Breakfast, proteins, fats, carbs, fiber. Lunch, the same. Dinner, the same. I have a similar sized meal, not identical in terms of size or what is involved in that meal. Obviously, I'm not having chicken or steak or fish for breakfast. It'd be a bit strange. But I'm having pretty much an identical plate in terms of what's composed of that plate, 3 times a day. And then outside of these windows, I'm having snacks. But I'm not just eating chocolate bars and candy. Maybe I'm having fiber-rich or protein-rich fuel sources. Largely, I just have fruit. Sometimes I'll have a protein shake or some yogurt, because again, these things are protein-rich. But these things are going to help me stay full. They're going to satiate me more than a processed element may do, right? And it's why you really need to be mindful of what you're putting in your body, not just how much, but also what you're putting in your body. And it's a big reason why, you may eat 2,500 calories, but you may not even feel full over the course of the day. And that's because you're not eating the right foods. I'm going to stop this video here, and I'm going to give you 2 things. The first is going to be a free guide on what I call portion-based eating. It is the exact strategy I implement with my clients, and it's exactly what I talked about there in terms of having a balanced plate full of whole nutrient-dense foods. And I'm going to give you the roadmap and the framework for that completely free. There's a link in the bio of this video, the description of this video, to go click and get that emailed over to you. And then the second thing is a chance and opportunity to work with me. Maybe you don't see that as attractive, but a lot of people do. And all you can go do is click the second link down below in this video to understand what working with me kind of would look like and the types of people I've worked with before, and I guess express your own interest if that's of interest to you. But anyway, I will let this video end now. I wish you all an awesome day.